What's going on? You locked in with the Innovators YouTube. You already know I got the best interviews right here, man. I got the one and only Jay Diggs in the building. What's going on? How you doing?
What's up with it, brother? You know, feeling good.
Just to get into it, can you just talk about like how you grew up? Was your parents around? Like, what was that like for you?
Oh, definitely. I grew up in a two-parent home. Both my mother and father from Vallejo, California. And actually still together to this day.
Oh snap, that's dope.
Hell yeah. They celebrate, I think, 53 years anniversary just recently, you know. So yeah, my parents been in my life my whole life. You know, my mom's from the Crest in Vallejo, my father from Millersville, Vallejo. You know, they met in high school, Vallejo High.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine that.
That's crazy.
And been together ever since, you know. Raised me great. I can't have no complaints, you know. Uh, they actually bought their first home when they was like maybe 30, maybe 30 years old. My mom and pop bought their first home in a suburb city right outside of Vallejo, called Hercules, California.
Yeah,
You feel me?
I'm familiar.
So yeah. So they bought us a nice house out there in the subs when they was young. You know what I mean? And they kept a structure. But me, I was just one of them street dudes that just stayed running in the streets. You know, they always provided though. I can't, you know, I'm a mama's boy to the heart. Like,
Yeah,
literally a mama's boy to this day.
yeah. How would you describe like your experience growing up? Just were you a good kid? Would you say you were a good kid overall?
I mean, I was a good-hearted kid.
Yeah,
I wasn't no evil kid. But yeah, I was bad. I was bad. You know, I tried everything in the streets. You know, I tried everything but drugs. Let's say that. I mean, I sold drugs, but one thing I never did, I never experimented with no type of drugs in my life outside of marijuana. You know, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I never tried, not one time ever tried cocaine, heroin,
yeah,
and I'm president of Thizz Entertainment. I never popped a Thizz pill. You know what I mean? A lot of my fans didn't even know that. Like
yeah.
I don't try. I tried weed one time when I was young, and I ain't stopped since. I'm still smoking, so I'm not the type to just try. You know what I mean? I was one of them kids though that was definitely um intrigued with the hustling world.
Yeah,
So anything that, you know, when it came to hustling in the streets, I was tapped into it, man, and I was always trying to get some money. So I was really my mom's bad child. You know, she got two other daughters. Both my daughters both her daughters is business owners, and you know, all three of us are now. But at the
yeah,
time, you know, I was the bad child. You know what I mean? I went to prison young. You know what I mean? I had to learn. I had to take all the bumps and bruises. Shit.
why have you never like not tried drugs? Like, not saying that you're supposed to, but like, why did you never?
You know, initially it was because I thought I was gonna be a superstar football player when I was
Okay,
young. So I was like, man, you know, I'm finna be on this football. So I wasn't really never, you know, really interested in them like that. Especially, you know, being where I'm from and seeing motherfuckers off crack and like that. So I was like, man, hell no, I'm not finna try. It took a minute for me to try weed when I was young. You feel me? And so I was just never one of them ones that was just curious to see, oh, how this gonna make me feel. Like I'm not that. I watch other people's reaction and I'll be like, nah, I'm cool with that. I don't, you know what I mean. So that was just one of them things that never intrigued me. I never wanted to experience what drugs made a person feel like.
yeah,
I'm not the curious dude in the crew.
yeah. Nah, I respect that, and I think now more than ever in music we see like more drugs being glorified. You feel me? Like, I mean, you know, it was prevalent like back in the day, but like I feel like now it's like back in the day it was more like glorifying the nigga selling the drugs. Now it's more like
You never heard motherfuckers talk about taking drugs back in the day. That was, you know, and it was, you know, it was just part of the evolution of the shit. Actually, you know, a lot of people did it, but they didn't talk about it. You know, and actually, Drake was the first rapper to come out to really say, you know, I pop ecstasy and I go crazy after it. You know what I mean? Drake did that, and he started a movement with that. But he was just keeping it real, and
yeah,
that's what music is supposed to be about. You know, well, rap music is supposed to be about keeping it real, who you are, what you do, and that was his way of keeping it real. You want to know what Mac Dre do? Mac Dre
yeah,
pop a pill and go crazy.
yeah.
And after he did that, other people, we can talk about this. Oh, well, I've been doing it too. You know what I'm saying? So everybody started coming out the closet, and there was a movement that you wouldn't understand. But I was around 20 that pop pills all day, and I was the one not on pills. Like, just to be like, man, Diggs, you need to relax. Pop, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I stayed on point though. I was always on point for my crew, and they always knew that I was gonna be the one on point. Whether we in the club. Like I go to the club, I might spend $5,000 in alcohol at the club and not have a drink.
You don't drink. You don't drink either.
I'll have a drink every now and then, but I've probably been drunk 3 times in my life.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, I commend you on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, me and liquor don't go good together. Like, it's for some reason, like poison to me. Like, I drink that. I don't even gotta get drunk. It might make me throw up. So I'm not,
Yeah, I don't drink that much either.
Yeah,
not anymore for sure.
It's always a bottle at my table.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one drinking. I'm just accommodating everybody at my table.
Can you talk about starting Thizz Nation and, becoming the president? Like how was that? What made you want to do that?
Well, I didn't start Thizz Nation. So our label was Romper Room Records when we went to jail, Rom Productions.
Yeah.
So when so Mac Dre was my co-defendant, and it was Mac Dre and my little cousin Kilo. The 3 of us, we went to prison for conspiracy to commit armed bank robbery, and me and Kilo got attempt. Mac Dre got conspiracy because he knew what me and Kilo was going to do, but he wasn't involved in our.
Yeah.
And he stayed silent to our movement, and he didn't tell. Like, he literally went to prison for something he never had nothing to do with. So that was always my bro. So he went and did 5 years. Kilo got 8 and I got 10. So when Mac Dre got out after his 5 years, the Romper Room name had been ran through the mud. It was all on Unsolved Mysteries and all type of shit. So he wanted to start something new. Dre came home and he had a new movement he wanted to start, which was the Thizz Entertainment movement. So when he came home, he changed the name to Thizz Entertainment, and he started the movement. And Kilo came home 2 years after him, and him and Kilo started the label together. That was in '99.
Right.
So I was still in the feds.
Right, when all this was going on.
Yeah. So I came home a few years later. When I came home, Dre came to the halfway house, picked me up, like, bro, this is what we own right now. You feel me? Want you to come be part of this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's the Thizz shit now. We gonna, we still romp, but we gonna put romp in the background. You know what I mean? We gonna push the gangster shit to the side, bro. Let's have some fun with this music shit and let's get some money. So that was the birth of Thizz Entertainment. So I was just playing my role. At the time, I didn't have an album out. I wasn't even rapping.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I was rapping, but I didn't have no music out. So I was just playing my role in the crew. Everywhere Dre was at, I was right there in the cuts. I'm watching over, doing all the shit. Sometimes I was hyping the crowd up, his hype man and all the shit, but still working on my music on the side.
Yeah.
So when Dre passed, that shit was a blow to our whole team. It was like, damn, but we couldn't give up. We got to keep this shit alive. We got to keep Dre alive. So after Dre passed, we developed Thizz Nation, which is this stamp on my arm. That's Mac Dre face, and Mac Dre's Thizz Nation. So that nation was developed, and the core of the nation was my cousin Kilo Kirk, Uncle Miami, who was part of the family, me, Doobie, aka Sugar Wolf Pimp, Ryder J. Clyde. These was all the dudes that was right there, with Dre prior to him passing.
Yeah.
So we put the nation together, and we start bringing in artists from all over the Bay Area. That's what the nation is. We start grabbing everybody. Come on, Oakland, Richmond. It wasn't just Vallejo no more. You feel me? We start grabbing everybody from everywhere and putting out projects, bro. And it was really just to keep the movement alive. Right. So and I was like I say, I was just the president of the movement. Kilo, and then Mac Dre's mom, who is Mac Wanda, they are actually owners of that. I was just the face.
Yeah.
You feel me? So at the time, by this time now, I'm rapping. I got albums out. I got a movement. You know what I mean? Everybody done figured out who I was, because I always, knew how to rap, but I just had came home from prison. So yeah, we pushed the nation, and we brought in artists like Mr. Fab.
Yeah.
We signed Mr. Fab. He was 19 when I met Fab for the first time.
Yeah.
You feel me? He was doing his thing. So we brought him in. We brought Keek the Sneak in. We brought other artists that had had buzz and had
super pivotal artists.
All the shit, and bro, and there was the birth of a Bay Area movement that'll be here forever, man.
Why do you feel, even like looking at what y'all did with that and like seeing now, it's not as many other labels that have formed in the Bay Area over like, you feel me, over that time span. Like,
well, labels form, but you know they all different. You know they all have their different structures. You know, every label is not gonna do what a Cash Money do. Every label is not gonna do what a No Limit or a Thizz Nation. You know, people they births. You know, some great labels births. You know, after us came Livewire. They went crazy. That's my little bro Jay Stalin. I watched him since he was a young teenager.
Yeah.
You know, when I first met Jay Stalin was maybe about 16 or 17. He was finna get signed to Finny Shakur.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. He was a young,
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was finna get signed to Pac and them label and everything, bro. He was in the studio. He was working with Richie Rich back in the day.
Yeah.
And they was working on some shit together. And I was like, damn, this little kid, he got it. And sure enough, man, he blossomed into a CEO. You feel me?
Nah, for sure. I did. We talked about. We got to smoke and talk a little bit before the interview, but I did want to touch on how you have 10 kids and all their initials is J Diggs.
Yeah, every last one of them, bro. You know it is. You know it's crazy. I kind of jinxed myself, but I was real when I said it. When I was in prison, I got 10 years, and I used to tell everybody I'm gonna have a child for every year that these people didn't have me locked down. And I don't know if I really meant it when I said it,
Yeah.
but when I came home, I mean, that's what I ended up having. I got 7 boys and 3 girls right now. And every last one of them, Jaya, and Jayla, them is my 3 daughters. And my sons, I got 7 boys, and every last one of them, their first name is Jay, last name is Diggs.
Nah, I thought that was tight. Yeah. I wanted to be able to put that on camera. How do you feel overall jail affected you?
Well, one thing it did, it broadened my horizon because it got me out of just my neighborhood and out of my city. See, I went to feds as a kid. I didn't go to state prison where it was just, segregated, my hood, your hood, we tripping with everybody. I went to the federal system. And not only did I go to the feds, my first stop in the feds was Southern California, Terminal Island. So when I hit that compound, I was there with Crips, Bloods, Norteños, Serranos. That was it. And it was a metal factory, and all they did was sharpen up knives all day on that compound. So right then, I had to figure out what structure was. As a kid, I came into a whole different world. So, I figured that out fast. I had figured out what authority was. I had to figure out what leadership was, and I had to figure out, was I going to be a leader or a follower? And one of the first things I figured out when I got there is I'm going to be a leader. So I got next to the leaders when I got there. And when I did that, I realized how this shit worked. And if you want to stay alive in a situation like that, if you want to keep your respect, keep your manhood, and live by morals that you believe in, it's best to be a leader. Because if you follow motherfucker, you're going to follow into some bullshit. So I became a leader from a young nigga in the compound. I took leadership, and then I got shipped to 7 different institutions across the country because I kicked off a crack riot at Terminal. I didn't even have a crack case.
Yeah.
But being a leader, when the federal government turned down the crack law in 1995, I had to tell the compound, set it off.
Yeah.
You feel me? That crack riot got me banned from the West Coast. I was put on diesel therapy and shot all over the East Coast. So now I'm functioning with New York niggas, Philly niggas, DC niggas, and I'm on a compound with 10 Cali niggas, you know what I mean? I had to run a California car where we got to be on point with all these different sections in all these different states. At any time, it could go up.
Yeah.
So my leadership kept us alive. My leadership kept us out of bullshit. And I realized that, it could have went either way in there. And I used that same principle when I came home.
Yeah.
I was sent to prison behind an informant, a rat, or whatever you want to call these niggas.
Yeah.
And so I have no understanding for them because a man took my freedom because he couldn't do his time and he turned me in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He couldn't do his time, so he sent me to jail to go do it for him on some other shit that had nothing to do with what he got in trouble with in the first place. So my understanding with informants and rats is I don't fuck with them, stay away from me. If you won, I can't deal with you, whether you friend or family. Keep that shit over there.
No, I feel you. That's fucked up, especially if it was some shit that had nothing to do.
So So I carry all these same principles from prison, which kept me alive and kept me well respected. And I kept these same principles here when I came back to the streets, and I stand on it. I'll always stand on the things that I believe in. You know, and like I say, that's just part of being a leader. A lot of people stand on shit that they followed into. You know, I learned this from so and so, or I learned this from so and so, so this is what I believe. But if you ain't did your own research and you ain't did your own backup, or you ain't been through your own shit to make you really want to follow this, then you probably might be following something that you don't even or shouldn't even be following. So, and my whole thing is I'm a leader. I'm a leader. I don't follow nobody.
Do you feel like when you went into jail and like you got in there, was that the mindset you had at that time, or was that something that just kind of grew up on you over the years?
I grew. It had to grow. You know what I mean? I was young. I was too young to just say that I was just gonna be this, that. I had went in there and I was like I said, I got with people that were already at the statue in prison where I wanted to be once I got there. I got the niggas that was already calling shots in prison, that already was doing shit, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm a kid. We going to lift weights together. You know what I mean? I'm not even asking no questions. I'm just paying attention. I'm that type of doc. I pay attention. I'm very well. I'm not the one doing all the chatter normally. I'm sitting back and I'm watching shit and I'm watching how it go. So you go into jail at 19 years old. You know you got to sit around there for 10 years. You might want to figure out how shit work before you just go in there and just try to be a reckless nigga.
No, for sure, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying?
Can you talk more about your relationship with Mac Dre? I feel like a lot of times people try to like spew what your relationship was, or
Oh yeah, bro. We had, you know, it's crazy. We had the dopest relationship, like literally, like that was my bro. Like I said, he gave up his life for me and my cousin, and he didn't have to do that. He could have easily said, yeah, them niggas was robbing all the banks. Y'all already know that. You feel me? And blah 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 blah. And he could have went home. He could have went home to a jive deal and all this shit. But he stayed solid to the code and literally went to prison for keeping his mouth closed. And that's all we ever did. We kept our mouth closed. We went to trial, lost in trial, and that's what it was. So my loyalty to Dre was phenomenal. When I came home, my little sis threw me a boat cruise. I had a boat cruise around the bay. Hella people from where I'm from came. Dre came to the boat cruise. You feel me? We had words on that boat. You had to feel the electricity in it. Well, us being back together, and his last words was "Romps, keep it real," and that's what we do. So and after that, Dre came and got me from the halfway house, and basically me and Dre started living there. I was living with Dre when I first came home from prison. So I'm learning the music game now. He teaching me how to let's put these records out and do all the shit. So this is like my brother. This is like my brother. Everywhere he at, I'm pretty much with him. But I couldn't go out of state.
At that time, you couldn't leave
I'm
state.
fresh on parole.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I had never been, literally, out of state before, other than in prison. You know? So well, I take that back. We went to Seattle. When I first came home, my first road trip with Dre.
With Seattle?
Hell yeah, with Seattle. Seattle, Washington did a show. It was Dre and Andre Nicotina. We actually went to Olympia. And that was crazy. The first time I seen a whole building full of white kids singing every word to Too Hard for the Fucking Radio.
Damn.
Like I was blown away. I couldn't believe it, bro. Like shit was crazy. 2000 and they in there singing every word to every Mac Dre song. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. So this is when I first got out of prison. So, but mind you, so Dre had a show in Kansas City and I couldn't go. I was on federal probation. I could not go. And he was Mac Dre, Yuck Mouth, Keek the Sneak, Mac Mall, Doobie, like this Bay legends.
Yeah, right now.
They all there. I wasn't even a rapper at the time, so it wasn't really necessary. I just used to go with the Cuddy to the shit.
Yeah.
And so he went out there, he did the show, and a whole bunch of bullshit happened while they were in KC, and Dre ended up passing away. So, like I said, when Dre passed away, we rocked this nation up. And it's crazy because we had this dope ass movement for the last 20 years. Everybody knowing like, man, they loving us to death, bro. We appreciate how you keep Dre name alive. This chain, Mac Dre face, say Mac Dre Thizz Nation on it. I've been rocking this chain for 17, almost 18 years now. Every day of my life. You see me, you just came and picked me up in LA.
Yeah.
Standing by myself.
Yeah.
With this chain around my neck. I've been in LA all weekend. You feel me? It's playoff weekend.
Yeah.
I don't go nowhere without it. If I go to court, I'm standing in front of the judge with this chain on.
Yeah.
So I rep this shit to the death of me. Always have got love up until about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, a cat decided that he wanted to put this mojo ass name out on our label and make our label, basically trying to destroy our legacy. You feel me? Oh man, Dre and Diggs didn't fuck with each other like that. And Diggs had Dre killed, and man, just the farce out shit. Internet shit.
Yeah.
And this is at a time where I didn't really understand how the internet worked. Like I know how the internet worked, but I really didn't understand that people would really just look at anything they see on the internet and run with it. Like, damn, this is what it is. I'm thinking, well, shit, I've been doing this shit for 15 years. Everybody know this story. They seen me and Dre together on all the cameras. They seen all the shit. They seen the movement get started. But nobody bite into this bullshit.
Yeah.
But here we had a person that at once upon a time, he used to have a name in the Bay Area. And he decided he wanted to do this. So he had some fans that believe in shit. And they ran with this shit. And so there's some people that really believe in their head that, oh, Mac Dre, Kilo, and Diggs, which we was his co-defendants. We was his best friends. We the ones who carrying his legacy. We the ones, if somebody disrespect his mama, gonna pull up. We all that. You feel me?
Yeah.
We the ones, his daughter will call if she needs something. All the shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we the ones whose name got drugged through the mud because this certain artist decided he wanted to play with our name. So I had a few times where I had to go ahead and step up and tell the real. And anybody that know our movement, anybody know about Mac Dre, know about J Diggs, know about Kilo Kirk, they know what it is. But like I say, a person could get on the internet right now, like a man tried to play with me not too long ago and say, oh man, I just heard J Diggs married to a man. So anybody that don't know J Diggs, they'll see that shit on the internet and J Diggs. And then wildfire. So I had to address that shit. So my new thing now, I knew that, okay, these are how these niggas is playing now. This is the internet world. This is how they play. And if you don't address that shit, like you will get ran through the mud. So I had to start stepping up and addressing shit like that. But for the most part, our story is on the internet. You know how this shit go. Everything can be tracked down from how we got down to where we at now. Even with, they just did a documentary. It's called The Big Payback or The Payback on TV1 about the Mac Dre incident and all this shit. So anybody that got any kind of questions or ever want to question what happened to Mac Dre or me and Mac Dre relationship, it's all out there for you. It ain't nothing. Don't go listen to something you hear on the internet or something you see in a comment or somebody reckless. Go do your research for yourself because everything can be found. They try to say, we left Mac Dre, mama broke. Mac Wanda is one of the biggest bosses in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Travels the world. Say something about Mac Dre, put some Mac Dre material out, you're gonna get served by Mac Wanda. She got one of the biggest shows in the Bay Area every year, Mac Dre Day.
Yeah.
Got to deal with Live Nation, So they got all these rumors and they got all this bullshit that's been said about our crew, which they do that, like they said, should kill Tupac.
Yeah.
But here it is, everybody is out. But half the world don't even know that the motherfucker that killed Tupac, they didn't already found that. They still saying should.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's how slow. Because people ain't paying attention. Some people are, some people ain't. But that's how the media work. If you would have thought that would have been world news when they found out
you would have thought everybody would know that.
You would have thought that once that they solved the Tupac murder, every news show should have stopped and said, dun, 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 dun. The killing of Tupac had been solved. Bro, if you didn't go on World Star, you wouldn't have seen that shit.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's how they do. But when they damaged his name, it was everywhere. But that's how the world works, man. So, and so I'm at a time now, my story is Rolling Stone. I got a brand new book out. Tells everything I told you and more. It goes into depth, this whole shit, this whole Mac Dre, Thizz Nation shit. If anybody is really that interested, they can get the real story instead of listening to people putting our shit out for views and likes. You know what I mean? So that's as simple as it get right there. We got documentaries from BET American Gangster to Celebrity Crime Files. Like it's all out there. Like, you know, DJ Vlad, all
Yeah.
them, you know, it's all out there. It's plenty of shit where you can get the real story, you know, instead of listening to his story.
Yeah. No, I got you, and I appreciate you for saying that. I do want to ask you this. Everybody kind of wants to know, but like the issues with you and Wack 100, like how did that come about? Like, is y'all gonna box? Like, is that gonna happen? Like, the people want
It's
to know.
crazy. So, you know, I'm in LA right as we speak, man. And I've been online with with some guys that got at me about trying to do the event when they seen it first went down. And you know, that's what I'm trying to keep it on. You know, I'm a real street nigga. So I'm trying to keep this on some respectable, you know, let's just do it. Let's get down. Let's get down on the streets. You know, we ain't got to do all the other talking and all that shit like that. You know, that's that other shit that these kids do right now. And like I say, these kids be losing their lives and fucking their lives over some shit they could have punched a nigga in the mouth for. You know what I mean? That's where I grew up at. You know, and so I'm trying to keep it on that level, and hopefully Wack respect it on that level. Like we can get down, like, you know, man. You know, I'm with all the bullshit, but I would rather do this like men. So they just got at me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go meet with them. I'm running around LA all week. You know what I mean? Doing my little shit, man, trying to get shit going. So we trying to put this promo out. This is a challenge. Wack 100, come meet me in the ring, man. Let's do some UFC shit together. You feel me? Settle it like men, you know, and let that be that. And so I'm hoping he accept the challenge, man, because I want to beat up on this nigga. Period. You know, he run his mouth a lot. He need another one. Putting all type of bullshit on the internet, man, that ain't cool, bro. You know, you use your platform. Your platform is supposed to be, you know, to put some real shit out, especially if you calling yourself some type of commentator or news reporter, whatever the fuck y'all do over there. You know, y'all be giving out information to the public. You got to give out real information, man. You can't be out just trying to slander because you got a platform. You using it to slander people's name and shit like that. That shit ain't cool. So that's why I'm so persistent. Like, I don't really play on the internet. Right now, I'm playing on the internet. I'm childish as fuck. I'm petty. I'm all that shit, my nigga. I'm not going to let a nigga play with my legacy. Never. So, yeah, that's what it is. So I'm on Wack Head. Like, I'm on Wack Head. I'm in this section as we speak, my nigga. Like, I'm really just want to just fight, though. I just want to fight. I just want to fight, my nigga. You asked for a fight. I just want to fight, my nigga. I want to beat you up and get it over with. You know, we can laugh about it later. You know what I mean?
Like, I am though. Like, what happened? Like, I don't know if you want to say.
So I told the story 100 times, but I'll give you the story real quick, right? So Wack was campaigning for Blue Da Vinci. Blue's my little partner. Blue Da Vinci BMF. You know, it's a whole little story how the rumor started that he got called a rat. So it got started from Big Meech calling my phone. While I'm on the phone with Blue, the day that Blue got his time, Blue called me. Diggs, I got my time. They gave me 5 years. We chopping it up. Click, click. Hold on, Blue. I click over. It's Meech. Meech tell me, hey, Diggs, you know Blue went to court today. Blue's a rat bastard. I love him like a brother, but he's a rat bastard. Me and Big Meech going back and forth, clicking over with Blue. I'm going back and forth with them. Telling Blue what Meech said. Meech telling me. The end result at the time was Meech said I ain't fucking with Blue. Whatever the case may be. I'm not BMF. I fuck with the mob to the fullest. Them both was my bro, so I backed up. I backed up off Blue. He couldn't call my phone. None of that shit. So I just explained to you how I deal with rap. Even though he was like my brother, when Meech called and said that, I shut it down. So Blue is telling the story now, years later, now that he's home, he's telling his story, his side of the story, on how he got the word got started that he's a rat. So while he's doing these interviews, he was telling the interviewer that, you know, Meech called Diggs and blah, blah, blah. And bitch ass Jay Diggs made this song, right? So when he telling the story, at the same time, Wack doing the Clubhouse interviews saying, man, Blue not no rat. Blue ain't no paperwork on Blue and none of the shit. And then Blue was saying that Meech was just thought that he told about this limo that we knew about. Well, to make a long story short, Meech problem was Blue debriefed. Anybody in the feds know what debriefing is when you go sit down with the government, talk about shit that got to do with y'all situation. So debriefing, when you debrief, you get what's called a safety valve and all the shit, which Blue took, and he admitted that he did all this shit. So that was Meech's biggest thing. It wasn't just about the limo getting towed on.
Yeah.
So I was explaining that Wack, I said somebody had me on a Clubhouse interview, and I was saying they should, since Wack think Blue didn't tell, you should tell Wack to ask Blue to submit his debriefing paperwork. If he give his debriefing paperwork, that'll say what he said in that little room, that little first 48-hour room. You know, the little room they take people in, they ask you them questions.
Yeah.
Only Blue can get that. That's not public information.
Yeah.
So tell Blue to go get the shit that they was talking about in that little room, and that can clear him.
Yeah.
I said that on Clubhouse, just like that. Tell Wack to ask Blue to give up the debriefing paperwork, and that could probably clear his name. So somebody said that to Wack. Wack, Jay Diggs said, Jay Diggs? Who is Jay Diggs? I don't know no Jay Diggs. I don't know this nigga. Nigga running my name, and fuck Jay Diggs. Fuck Jay Diggs' mama. Yeah, nigga, it is what it is, nigga. I'm gonna make sure it ain't cool, nigga. Your mama this, and whoop, whoop, whoop. You suck dick, and you know, just went all bad.
Yeah.
So, and the day that this happened was actually the day that it was my son's death day. It was the anniversary of his death day. So on this particular day, I don't fuck with nobody. I don't talk to nobody. You can't call my phone. My kids don't even call me. They know.
Yeah.
Dad is doing his thing with Duda. It's my son.
Yeah.
So he do all this shit on that day. So I'm getting everybody hitting my phone. I had to put my phone away. Like, you know, I'm smoking weed with my son. We chopping it up. You know, this is what I do. This is his day.
Yeah.
So the next morning, actually after midnight is when I go focus on this shit, and I'm seeing all this shit, I open up his page and say, word on the street, Jay Diggs married to a man. Everybody sent me this interview where he going off talking about my mama and talking about I'm supposed to be gay, and he got paperwork that I touched a 13-year-old. Like all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, my nigga, what Jay Diggs is who this nigga got?
Yeah.
So he did all this shit, and then on top of all that, he said he wanted a fade. So I'm like, okay, I oblige all that because I wanted that anyway. Like, my nigga, you didn't ran my name through the mud and all. I ain't said nothing but tell you to ask Blue something.
Yeah.
So that started it. And then now we to the point where, you know, I acknowledged him and I said, I want the fade and let's do it. But now he's not saying that we can meet for this. He made up a fake story about I was texting him and sending him video. I'm like, I ain't never texted this man. I had my homeboy Zoda Roaster call a nigga and tell him, bro, line the fade up, man. My nigga Diggs want to see you. This wasn't even no internet shit. This was some straight text to him. I didn't have the nigga phone number. So Zoe called him, text him, say, hey, Diggs want to see you for the fade. Oh, that nigga don't dictate nothing, blah, 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 blah. So from there on, I'm just, okay, since you on Clubhouse and on the internet, this is how I get your attention. So I'm just trying to get his attention for the fade. I'm just like, let's set up a date.
I got you.
I ain't trying to do no weird shit. Let's just set up a date. You know, this nigga done ran my name through the mud. And my thing is, that's how I'm going to stop that shit. Only way people ain't gonna play with me about the shit he put on the internet is they gonna see that I address that shit to the fullest, and I'm not letting off of it until a motherfucker know. I'm not none of the nigga that he tried to make me be. That's not who I am. You can find out who Jay Diggs is now. Y'all can get an up close and personable and see who I am. I'm not the nigga that he portraying me to be. And he didn't found that out. So that's why I'm on this nigga head the way I am.
I got you.
A 3-finger whack too, streaming on all platforms right now. Y'all go get that, yeah. Yeah, so I had to tap in with his little ex-bitch. She told all the stories about her playing in his cheeks and all type of shit. So I turned it into a song and had fun. I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, no, I got you. Shit, I hope that he do the boxing match.
Yeah, we're trying to set it up. I'm actually finna go look at the facility and go talk contract right now.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Hyphy movement?
When you say how do I feel about it, what about it?
Did you think it was good for the? You feel me? We had the Thizz culture. Like, how you feel about the Hyphy movement?
Well, it was what it was. You know, a movement is something that you start and you run with, and depending on how you play it, you have a group of individuals that capture. You know. And what we did, that movement right there was special for the Bay. It was needed for the Bay Area because we stay getting overlooked. You feel what I'm saying? So it showed that our independency, you feel me? We always been independent. That's what people don't understand about us. Like LA has always had the backing of all the majors. You feel me? New York have had the backing of all the majors. The Bay Area, we birthed on independent. Mac Dre has never signed a major record label deal in his life, but I guess you know who he is.
Yeah,
that's all through independent. That's all I've ever been. I ain't never even walked into a radio station and said, "Hey, can you play this for me?" Or walked into a fucking. I've had plenty of opportunities to go in the label. Never walked into it. It's just a Bay Area thing with me. Too hard for the fucking radio.
Yeah.
And then the artists that I've had seen go from the Bay Area that went and signed with majors, they seem to always come back to the independent side.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I'm just gonna stay over here. I own everything that's mine.
Yeah.
I own all my music, you know. Kilo and Wanda own all the Mac Dre's catalog. So Mac Dre's estate is in place.
Yeah.
My estate is in place. My homeboy Coolio, the underdog that does music, he owns all his shit. Like all where we come from, we own everything. Like and that movement right there birthed a lot of artists and taught a lot of artists how to be independent.
No, definitely.
It taught them how to, hey, we can do our own shit. We got our own thing out here, whether y'all like it or not. This is our movement. So we got, and it made the whole world come and look for a minute. They didn't look for long, but they looked like, okay. And we recognized on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That was a movement needed for the Bay Area.
Yeah.
It showed who the Bay Area was independently, like I say. It was just a dope ass independent movement.
Yeah. No, I rock with that for sure. Can you talk a little bit more about like Romper Room and like how that initially got started?
So the Romper Room, initially Romper Room was a TV show. It was a TV show that was it was on the air. It aired more than just the Bay Area, but it was definitely, and then like I'm talking, when I say this had to be shit, the Romper Room probably started somewhere when my dad was a kid. So it was a show where it was almost kind of like not Sesame Street, but like a Sesame Street type vibe, where it was a lady had a classroom with these kids. They would play games, and at the end of the day, she would get this mirror. She called it her magic mirror, and she would look in it and say, "Okay, I see George, I see Becky." So she'd name off all the kids in the classroom. So and if you was being a kid, that was dope. To see, you want your name called and shit too. So that was the original show, and I remember it from a kid. Now, and it was just known to be a kid show.
Yeah.
As far as my crew, the name got stuck to us from being in the neighborhood, the Crest, which is the hood, and niggas in my crew is jokesters. Like even Dre, like I say, even Mac Dre, hella jokesters that like to play a lot. So we used to be in the hood and shit, and then like the older homeboys would be selling dope or something. Like say you one of my homeboys and you selling dope and you had a car, and then you hear somebody saying rollers, police, and you turn around and it's one of us.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I had a homeboy, his name is Jamie 08. So he nicknamed our crew that. Little badass Romper Room kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just stuck. It just was a name that stuck. And it's just a crew. It's not a big gang or nothing. It's a crew of niggas that's grew up in the same neighborhood and did the same shit together, rocked out, slept in cars together, sold dope together, eventually started robbing shit together, robbing banks together, made music together, and still fuck with each other to this day. Like all crews, you have one or two people that might go bad. And luckily that's all that went bad in our crew too. We had to release 2 people from our crew.
Yeah.
And everybody else, we still solid. We still day ones. And we've been around each other for 40 years. You feel me?
Yeah.
Still rocking. Me and my cousin Kilo, me and Jay Smith, it's the crew. It's the crew. Cooley, like we still together. It's hard to find niggas that go to prison as a crew.
Yeah.
And come home. Yeah. Like you ain't gonna see no more YSLs and none of that shit. That shit over with.
Yeah.
When you got the whole crew doing this to each other, like my whole crew, everybody in my crew went to federal prison. I still got niggas in my crew in federal prison. I got a homeboy, Jay, just came home from 27 years. When he went to jail, his baby was in his girl's stomach. He's 27 years old now. He's a recording artist out of my neighborhood.
Damn.
He just came home. That's what I'm saying. Romper Room shit.
Yeah.
He back with the crew, with his niggas.
That's real shit.
And that's how our crew, like we don't got no problems with, we different.
I did want to ask you, how is bank robbing something you got into? Like
kid shit, we was young niggas and just in the chase of money. So it started off, robbing something smaller than banks. We was selling dope first, just anything else, bro. We was young niggas, hood hungry, and you find out that I can get some money doing this, and it worked the first time, and then it worked the second time, and then you get that bigger appetite for shit.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. We started robbing shit young, you know, and it just took one nigga to see the other nigga like, damn, nigga, you up right now? What you on? Ah, man, I just hit this lick. Ooh, what? What lick? Ooh, ooh, ooh. And that nigga did it come a crew thing. Nigga, everybody in on it. So it started off on some smaller shit. It started off with pizza robberies. So when Unsolved Mysteries came in on our crew, we had already had tore up the Bay Area with all the round table pizza. Like I knocked off round table pizza in Hercules, and they had the footage, the live footage of me running up in the Hercules round table, and they put that shit on the Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
You feel me? But I had on a mask, I had on a white ski mask, and I had on a black jumpsuit and
Yeah.
all the shit. So we was tearing up the area so bad that they called in Unsolved Mysteries. And this was prior to the banks. By the time Unsolved Mysteries came and started recording, we was already on to the bank level.
Yeah.
So it was like levels. It was levels to the shit. It was like, you know, like I
Yeah.
say, you start off
Work
robbing
your
something
way
small, and next thing you know, like this little ass money ain't shit, bro. We start running up in banks. And then that shit got addictive. You feel me? Like I went and dropped my homeboy off in Chico one time to go to school. Like he like, man, I'm ready to go to college. My DJ partner, DJ Suge, I'm ready to go to college. I took this nigga up to Chico, drove him in my brand new car, drove this nigga to drop him off. He was leaving the hood to go to college. While I'm up in Chico, I'm looking around like, man, okay. Me and my nigga went right back up there, robbed a bank in Chico. We was just like, that's the type of shit we was on. 19 years old. So we had created a frenzy in Northern California. That's all you seen every night on the news. Another bank robbed, another bank robbed, another bank robbed. So I had one of the guys that stole the cars from me. His name was Corey Dunn. So the nigga ended up catching another case on some other shit and got caught up. And when they caught the case, the police came up to him to the jailhouse to see him, and they knew he was a car thief. They say, look, we know you ain't stealing these cars, but I mean, we know that you're not robbing these banks, but you're stealing the cars for whoever robbing these banks. So the nigga fucked around and told him that he had been stealing cars for me, trying to get out of a case, some domestic violence shit with his bitch. And he gave him the first lead on us. So now they put a wire. They made him wear a wire. So I didn't even know all this was going on. So he get out on some domestic violence shit. When he get off on some domestic violence shit, now he working with the feds. So he put a wire on, and now he's trying to set me up. So we did a show. Mac Dre had a show with Ice Cube and Dub C in the Mad Circle in Fresno. It was our first big show.
Yeah.
So we go to do the show in Fresno. We met some little bitches out there. You know, and we like, okay, we're gonna politic with these bitches. It was our first time even going to Fresno.
Yeah.
So we setting up. Me and Kilo, we like, okay, it's the double back. We're gonna shoot back down here. We're gonna knock a bank off down here. That was the whole movement. You know, anywhere we seen some shit that was virgin,
Yeah.
we're gonna go fuck it. So we put the play together to go back. So the morning I'm finna go back, me and Kilo finna go back. I'm just so happy to be in the studio just like this with Dre. We working on some music or something. And I'm talking to Kilo, okay, I'm be on my way shortly. Dre hear me talking, like, bro, where you going? I'm like, me and Kilo finna shoot out to Fresno. He like, oh, I'm trying to go back out there. It's a little bitch I'm trying to get on. I'm like, bro, we finna go do the whoop-de-wop. Oh, I'll stay at the hotel, nigga. I know what it is. Nigga, I ain't even tripping. I'm like, man, Cuddy, I'm going with y'all. Let's go. Like, it's a cut. All right, nigga, you can stay at the hotel. We gonna fuck around. So we get out there, do all the shit. We go. I had a little bitch out there. Kilo had one. The nigga Corey, the whole time, he got a wire on. He driving.
Niggas don't even realize.
He driving. So the play is he finna go out there with us, and he gonna steal a car. He gonna steal a car for us. That's his job. Steal a car and all the shit, and he gonna do the drive. Like he had finally, and that's what's crazy, when he came home from jail. So he played me. I ain't gonna lie. He worked, because when he came home from jail, he started acting like, bro, I need this money. I'm going through this shit with my baby mama, the court. Can I drive for you? First, he was just stealing cars from me. But he knew what the cars was for, because they on the news every time. So I had to let him know, bro, make sure, you feel me? So now he didn't play me to let him, okay, I'm gonna help you get some extra money. You can come drive for me out of town with me and Kilo, knock this shit down. He got 35 federal agents follow us from Sacramento.
Oh my God.
To Fresno. Then they hook up with the Fresno feds. So now they following us. We at a hotel. They got every other room at the hotel, acting like businessmen and all the shit. We don't even know what's going on. So bam, we set the play. He go steal a car. Corey go steal a car. Bring the car back to the hotel. We all got our own rooms. He called me. I got the car. Okay, we're going to get on 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Meet you downstairs. So me, Kilo, and Corey finna go hit the bank. Dre at the room. I tell my bitch, you know, get some weed. When we come back, we're gonna go eat and leave and all the shit. Dre at the room with his little chick, all the shit. So when we leave to go do the bank shit, we got 2 cars. So the play is we're gonna pull up in front of the bank, bam, run up in the bank, come right out, jump in the car, hit the corner, jump in the clean car, which is my clean car. We're gonna slide to this other hotel we rent. So we pull up to the bank, Corey driving, I'm in the passenger, my little cousin Kilo in the back. So we finna get ready to hit the lick. I'm pulling my ski mask. I'm finna get ready to get out the car. And I see a news van, you know, the kind of vans that got the satellites on the motherfuckers, the news. So I see the van like across the street. I'm like, hold on, bro, it's a van. That's the one that's got the cameras with them shit. Like, hold on, let's chill for a second. So while we chilling, waiting, looking at this van, this motherfucker ain't moving though. It got tinted windows on it, it ain't moving. So now we looking like, where the camera at? We don't see the camera. And then we start seeing other little, back then they had these little Ford Aries and shit.
Yeah.
Or not Ford, was they Fords? But the Feds drove these little kind of cars, had these little antennas on them. These look, so we start seeing it, but we downtown, so we trying to just make it like, oh, well, we downtown. But now it's just like, hold on. So I'm like, this ain't cool, something ain't right. This camera truck over here, these Fed cars, I shut the bank robbery down. Like, we go back to the room, pick up Dre, go take the bitches back to their house, and we get on the freeway to 99 on our way back home, bro. Yeah. And first of all, Corey, he's still in a stolen car. He's like, I'm gonna just take this car back. So me, Dre, and Kilo, me in my car. So the nigga Corey pull over on the side of the freeway. I pull over behind him, and he come and ask me for some weed. I give him some weed. He pull off. I'm finna pull off again, and Dre like, he right here. He looking past me onto the freeway, and he look like he see a ghost. He like, Cuddy, I just seen Ritz. Now Ritz is a detective from Vallejo.
Yeah.
Now imagine you a hood nigga and you
100
and something miles away from home, and you see a detective from your town. You like, so I'm like, bro, you sure? He like, bro, that was Ritz. And then Kilo looked back. He in the back. He said, I thought I seen him too. So now instead of going straight on the freeway, I'm like, man, something ain't right. I'm like, man, I go across the freeway in the 99. You can go across the middle, and I go to start going the other way. And now all these cars was doing the same shit. So I'm in the rear view mirror like. So I'm like, Cuddy, they own us. So they lining up behind us, just hella undercover cars, not no police cars. They all kind of cars you can see, like they own us. I'm like, man, what the fuck? So now you can see a police car coming from way back. This motherfucker coming with his lights. I'm like, they finna hit us. We smoking the blunt. Like, bro, you already know. So we in there, like, y'all know what it is. We ain't did nothing. Nothing. So Dre like, y'all didn't do nothing. I'm like, we didn't even hit the lick, Cuddy. Ain't no lick got hit or nothing, bro. So ain't nothing to talk about. So bam, they come arrest us. Bam, they helicopter on us, jump out, guns, everything. They arrest us, take us back to Fresno County, try to run us into that little room. Nothing to talk about lawyer. Nothing to talk about lawyer. Nothing to talk about lawyer. All three of them. But the nigga Corey Dunn, nowhere to be found. They never bring the nigga in. So while we sitting in there, we like, bro, where's Corey at? He was just in front of us. It's 30-something cars. Ain't no way that nigga got away. Yeah. We tripping. So now, Dre like, bro, I told you it was something about that nigga. And I'm like, bro, that nigga, it's bad. We knew it. Everybody felt it at the same time. So I called one of my homies. While we in there, I get the phone call in the county. I'm calling one of my homeboys. This is his cousin. I'm like, bro, we just got picked up. He's like, yeah, I know. Corey called me. I'm like, yeah, what'd he say? He said he in Fresno and shit. He said he think y'all got arrested. I say Fresno. Now, we was outside of Fresno. Yeah. Already going north back towards the base. So he said, yeah, he said he in Fresno. I asked him, did he want me to come get me? He said, no, you figured out. I said, nigga, your cousin a rat, nigga. And hung up. And that's what it was, my nigga. We get the paper. Well, we already knew it. We already knew it was already, everything was just too, and they never asked about it. Like, we went in there, like,
the whole time.
The police never said nothing to us. They never say, well, who was the guy in that car? Or where? They just came in there. It was like, well, you know, we got reason to believe that y'all was finna rob a bank and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you? Nope, we don't know what you're talking about. I need a lawyer. So once that did that, the very next day, bro, they had us in court the very next day. We go into court the next day. It was crazy because they ran the shit on the news that night. I don't know, we in jail. So the next day, we had court at like 1:30 in the afternoon. We come in the courtroom, the whole courtroom filled up, bro. all our family and shit. I'm trying to call my mom and play it off
Yeah.
that night because I'm thinking it's gonna get dropped. I'm like, Mom, yeah, we got arrested, man. These people's talking something about some bank shit. We good though. We gonna be,
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it smooth. And
Yeah.
bro, the next day we get to court, whole courtroom full. People got newspaper articles holding them up like, I'm like, fuck, and it was all bad. And of course, it's all Mac Dre.
Yeah.
Mac Dre arrested for conspiracy to commit bank robbery. Romper Room gang members arrested, linked to 32 bank robberies. And so the shit just went crazy. It was all, so they started trying to link us to all the bank robberies and all the shit. But here, remind you, we didn't even get out of the car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We
Y'all
didn't even get out of the car, my
Yeah.
nigga, and I got a conspiracy to commit, and I got charged with attempt. Now, listen, didn't get out of the car, and I got found guilty in trial for attempted bank robbery. And they said because I took substantial enough steps
Out the car.
No, towards the robbery.
Towards
Substantial enough steps towards the robbery, meaning I did the planning, and the only reason why I didn't do it is because I noticed the van and all that
crazy.
Shit. Yeah, so that got me and Kilo convicted of attempted. So Dre just got conspiracy because Dre knew. It's like, bro, you knew, and they was trying to get him to say, yeah, I knew about it, but I ain't doing that. All he had to do was just say that. Literally, Dre, all he had to do was go and say, yeah, I knew the niggas was finna rob a bank, but I wasn't finna do it.
He would have got out.
He would have got out that day.
You have one of your most streamed songs is Vegas Nights, featuring Meech Slick out of San Diego. What was it that you liked so much about Las Vegas?
At the time when I made that song, Vegas was home, bro. I've been turned out from Vegas for years. I think, my homeboy Mac Marv turned me out on Vegas years ago when I first got out of prison. So I just liked it, the whole nightlife about Vegas. I like, I'm one of them people, I don't really sleep much. I do like 4 hours a night. So I'm a night person, I'm a morning person, and the whole stigma of Vegas it was just, especially coming out of prison. Coming out of prison after being in that cage for 10 years and then experiencing that spot, I fell in love with it. And at the time, this was prior, this back then, I was in the game too. Once upon a time, I used to be a pimp, not no more, they didn't change that shit up to human trafficking. So back in the days when I was in the game, that was perfect for the lifestyle I was in. I had 6, 7 bad bitches, and they used to get money out in Vegas, and I was getting money in Vegas, and it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful time.
How did you get into something like pimping? Like, how did you even?
I gotta make sure I get you a copy of this book.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I just came home at a time. When I first came home in the early 2000s from prison. One of the things, first of all, I had to figure it out. What am I gonna do? I knew I wanted to do music. I knew I had an avenue for music, which was cool. But I still needed immediate money. I needed immediate hustle. I need money fast. So I knew I couldn't start robbing this shit again. Which, and I can't even lie, I actually made that mistake too when I came home from prison. Like I was still, even when I came home from prison, I made more mistakes in the game that could have cost me. I was lucky enough to overcome them, but yeah, it could have cost me, because I was still, at the end of the day, I was still at the bottom. After 10 years in prison, you come home, you ain't really working with much. I had my family and shit, but and still being a spoiled individual in life. Here I am. I've never had a job in my life. I've never had a boss. Never had nobody tell me nothing. As much as people would like to call Mac Dre my boss, Mac Dre was not very much. It was my friend.
Yeah.
I would look up to Mac Dre in the music. Dre looked up to me in the streets. That's what it was. That was my bro. So I never had a boss, none of that shit. I always did what the hell I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, even in jail. I always found the easy, simple job. You know what I mean? That's just me. So it's just the way I live life. So yeah, it Diggs. That's all I can say is who I am.
Where did like the whole like where Jay Diggs at? Like I know that's a big record for you, but like where did the doing and moving, like you always on the go, like
so doing and moving that came from me coming home and not being able to stay still. Like I'd be everywhere, even with my body language. Like everybody know me, Diggs just always moving, and I literally always moving in life. Like I probably be on a plane more than anybody Like I'm always in a different city, a different state. I'm Diggs doing moving. When I was in the P game, when I was moving with my bitches, that's what we did. 2-3 days. Every 2-3 days, we was on a flight somewhere else to another city, to another state, getting some money. So I got that name early, right when I came home from prison. I got that name, Diggs Do It Moving, because I didn't want to be. After sitting in a cell for 10 years, bro, you never just want to be in the same place too long.
I can
Like I
understand
need
that.
to be so that's when I'm still experiencing shit, bro. I'm Diggs Do It Moving. And as far as the Where J Diggs at, I'm gonna credit that to the little homie Messy Marv, going through some shit with him back in the day. He caught himself looking for me and he pulled up into my neighborhood and he jumped out. He said, "Where J Diggs at?" Well, everybody know that Diggs Do It Moving.
Yeah.
And everybody know that wherever Diggs at, he says that. Like, that's one thing about me. Right now, you go look on my Instagram, it's going to say I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So that's one thing about me. I'm not hard to find. So for somebody to say where J Diggs at, and anybody else to know, nigga, go look on his Instagram. That nigga be everywhere and he going to tell you where he at right now.
Yeah.
So when Mesh did that, when he pulled that move and he went in my neighborhood and he jumped out where J Diggs at.
I remember that video.
Yeah, my whole thing was I always show people where I'm at. So I'm everywhere. So I took that and I ran with it. And it was just a way of flipping the bullshit. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's like, because there ain't no nigga really looking for me, my nigga. I'm not hard to find.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, now I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
So that's what that turned into. So
Yeah.
that's where the Where J Diggs came from. And I credit that to him, and I run with it. Got a bag off of it. Any nigga start something with me, money, I'm going to get a bag off of it and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And all the shit. Like, I'm with all the shit. That's one thing about it. So yeah, that was just something. That was a movement too.
Yeah. Y'all beef is kind of like publicized. I mean, you can say, I'm sure you talked about it before, but like, was that were y'all ever cool at one point?
That was my bro. That was my bro. But Mesh really lost his mind, bro. I can't put it. I gotta really address the situation for what it is. Anybody that know Mesh, it's really niggas that know Messy Marv. Nigga name is Messy Marv, first of all. It's the names speak for themselves. A lot of niggas get named from their character.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of things. One thing about Mesh, the people that around him know Mesh has always been into drugs.
Yeah.
And he's not one of the kind of people that can control it well. So Mesh would go through things like when Mesh's career starts going downhill, he'll find some messy shit to do to boost his career. Like, one morning he woke up and he decided it's fuck Too Short and went on the fuck Too Short campaign.
Yeah.
You feel me? And literally had nerve to call me and hit me with a song like, "Dang, I want you to get on this song." And I'm listening to the song like, "Man, I'm not finna get on a song you dissing Short. What that's about?"
Yeah.
"Oh man, that nigga tried to do this and try." I'm like, "Man, that's between you and Short."
Yeah.
You feel me? This was before me and him ever fell out.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of nigga he was. He'd wake up one morning, he'd just get on Twitter and just get the ranting and raving about anybody. "Oh, so-and-so this, so-and-so that." So on this particular time, what he had did is one day, I get up, check my social media like everybody else, and it's some motherfucker sending me this album cover with the stamp, Mac Dre Thizz Nation face on it.
Yeah. And
it got bullet holes in it, like one through Dre cheek, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And it says Messy Speaks. So I'm like, "What the fuck?" You can find it right. It's on the internet. So it says Messy Speaks. So when I go click it on, I go click on it, and I'm looking at the shit. And at first, it's an interview with him talking about I didn't fuck with the Dre nigga anyway. I fuck with Fat Tone. So I'm like, damn, hold on, is this the same mess?
Yeah.
Dre my nigga, and all the shit. I'm like, where did this come from? Why would you wait 12 years after Dre dead to say some shit like this?
Yeah.
So, of course, I naturally stood right up and said something like, "Man, cut, bro, you got to holler at me about this. I'm trying to confuse." And, it wasn't no disrespectful, but I'm like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, I had ended up going to jail in Vegas for some whole other shit. So I was gone. So while I was in jail, he had did a whole little spiel about, the nigga did a whole little spiel about, J Diggs, I think J Diggs the police. And they say, "I think J Diggs the police." And they say, "Why you think J Diggs the police?" He said, "Man, cuz J Diggs came down to Miami. Nigga talking about he wanted to talk to me about something. And he say, nigga, I jumped out with that thing in the middle of the thing. Come on, let's go to eat." We went to eat. He say, and J Diggs asked me for a kilo of crack cocaine in them words. Asked me could I get him a kilo of crack cocaine in them words. Now, mind you, I don't know what movie this nigga was in, but he's telling this online.
Yeah.
He said, nigga asked me for a kilo of crack cocaine in them words. So he said, I told the nigga I can get it. Let me holler at my Haitian people. He said, so I went and hollered at my Haitian people, man. I tried to call J Diggs back and the nigga stopped answering his phone. I think that nigga the police. So, mind you, now I did go to Miami.
Yeah.
And me and Mess went in 8 states. When I went to Miami because he was going through the Too Short shit. And everybody, the whole bay was on his head.
Yeah.
I flew to Miami, got my camera. I even got the footage and everything. I put it out on one of my DVDs. And me and him met, we shook hands. This is when he had the Square Bitches Can't Stand Me shirts.
Yeah.
He brought me 7 bags for all my bitches. He did all the shit. We went and ate skirt steaks, played pool. I beat him in pool for some money, all the shit. Had fun, waved, hugged, and said goodbye. This nigga turned that story into I went out there and asked him for a kilo of crack cocaine and then stopped answering the phone so he think I'm the police. Now, mind, I can't make this up, bro. That's all online, just so you know. Yeah. So all this while I'm sitting in jail. I'm sitting in jail and all these interviews is coming out with him while I'm in jail. So I'm in, matter of fact, at the time, Jace Coleon is my cellie. So, and Jace Coleon, that's Mac Minister's co-defendant with the whole Fat Tone situation. So when Mess do the interview, we confused. Like, and you know, mind you, I got nothing against Fat Tone. Like, you know, and I know he ain't had nothing to do with the Cuddy shit. Yeah. So I'm not tripping on that. But the fact that Mess would make the reference like that and be like, I didn't fuck with the Dre nigga. Yeah. It wasn't Mac Dre, the Dre nigga. And then have the audacity to put bullet holes in the Thizz Nation Mac Dre face, it just threw me off. Yeah. So that's where our beef started from. Basically, me standing up for Dre, and now after I said what I said, so here's where it is. So I come home from jail. Let me tell you, this is how the end of it. I come home from jail, and when I come home from jail, right, he had this big thing where he was saying, "Oh, Mess signed with Burner, Mess signed with Burner," right? So when I come home from jail, first thing I do is I call Burner, like, Burner, you signed Mess? He was like, hell no, Diggs, I ain't signed no fucking Mess. He said, Mess came and got at me and asked me about, you know, getting signed or whatever. And I told Mess, he said, I told Mess he got to get right with Diggs and Kilo before I make any decisions about doing anything like that, bro. He said, bro, he went and did a video. I don't even know what the hell that video was about. I was like, all right, I appreciate it. I just wanted to know the truth. Yeah. So then about 2 days after that, Mess do a video. And he say, man, all the promoters tap in with me. I'm finna start this tour, blah, 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 blah. And shout out Kilo and Diggs. Woo. Right?
But y'all hadn't spoken.
So when he did that, I went and made a video like, oh, hell no, my nigga. Like, we still need to see each other face to face, my nigga. Ain't no promoters, nothing. Though I suggest you don't book his tour, none of that. That's why, you know, I got back. Like, bro, nigga, you need to see me before we still got to figure this out. At least talk and have a man to man. Yeah. You feel me? What's the name said make it right? That nigga just said shout out Diggs. It ain't right yet. Yeah. So when I said that, when I made that video, 2 days later, he pull up into the crib. Now, mind you, I'm in Hawaii too. Everybody know I'm in Hawaii. I'm on live. I'm showing Hawaii. I'm doing all the shit. So I'm in Hawaii. Then he pulls up into a back street in the back of my neighborhood, not where niggas really be, but the back of my neighborhood where the kids and shit that be at, and jumped out talking about where J Diggs at. Had a pistol, had somebody with him and all this shit. Yeah. You feel me? Where J Diggs at? Blah, 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 blah. And they like, man, there's kids out here. Ain't no Diggs. Like, come on, my nigga. Diggs don't even be out here, my nigga. Diggs is a grown ass man. He ain't hung in the creche in years. Like, my nigga, like, what is this trying to prove something? Like, you not really out here looking for Diggs, right? Yeah. Like, cause Diggs don't be in the creche. Like, that's where he from. You feel me? So it's like a nigga going to right now looking for you in Richmond, my nigga. Like, last time you lived in Richmond, my nigga. Like, come on, like, what kind of homework is you doing on your phone? Like, but it was all for social media. That's why he took a camera and like, oh yeah, he had to like, oh yeah, we finna go viral today. Yeah, you know, it was all just for the media. He knew he wasn't gonna run into Diggs. He knew he wasn't finna have to use that gun. He knew he jumped out where it was kids at. Yeah, you feel me, mamas and shit. So yeah, it was and it was what it was. So, you know, I had fun with that too. You know, I knew Mess was going through some shit. I knew he was going through some shit, and it was one of the things. He was really on a down spiral, and he really mentally broke all the way down. It's kind of sad that because I was a Mess fan, and you know what I mean. I hate that he went at me like that. Like, we got songs together and everything, but at the end of the day, my nigga, if you turn on me, I got to turn back. Yeah. So, you know, and I still slap some Mess to this day, but I do have to to credit a lot of the bullshit with Mesh to mental health. Like Mesh is all the way fucked up now.
Yeah.
Like he can't even have a conversation with him. So he tried to go over Mozzie them. They thought that he was on the real nigga shit, and they took his ass over there and kept him over there for a couple of weeks and got the fuck away from him too. Like everybody like, oh, this nigga is not the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm not trying to glorify or laugh at the nigga, none of that shit, but yeah, he dropped the ball basically, man.
Yeah.
He dropped the ball.
Why do you feel people like to like associate Fat Tone with like the Mac Dre situation?
Well, because at the time when it happened, his name was one of the first names that came up. He was at the show. Fat Tone is a gangster from the city, all the shit. And then Fat Tone, when they was saying his name, like they said, he didn't dispel the rumors.
Yeah.
Because we was hearing them too. You know, I even made a song called Diggs Dance where I talked about that. Like, man, you know, I spoke on it. That was fuck 04. And I spoke on it like, man, you know, first thing I did, you know, I violated my probation the day Dre died. When I got the call, I got on the Kansas fight, went to Kansas City for the first time in my life, had never been there. My homeboys were still over there. Everybody was still there. I had never been to Kansas City a day in my life. The day Dre died was my first time going there. I pulled up. My homeboys, Mac Maul and them was all still there. Mac Maul, Keek, and everybody was still there. Yuck Mouth still there. Miami the Mo's, Doobie, they was all still there. So I had to go there and start getting information. Like, what happened? Where was y'all at? Where was so-and-so? What was this? Who threw the show? I had to get I found out everything the next day. And then I ended up staying out there and start making friends out there and start becoming a part of the fixture in Kansas City, trying to figure out what would happen to my friend in Kansas City. You feel me? And at the same time, I had to remember that Kansas City didn't do this to Dre. Certain individuals done this to Dre.
Yeah.
So then it's crazy because a lot of people now go to Kansas City now. Like, I get so much love in Kansas City. I go there all the time. You know, I have pictures in Kansas City. I got good friends.
Yeah.
And people be like, why you go to Kansas City? Oh, yeah, you must have had something to do with Drake. How you so comfortable in Kansas City? Kansas City love me.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's like, nigga, how many people do you done lost in your own neighborhood?
Yeah.
Nigga, have you left the hood yet? Have you stopped going to California?
It's known that Kansas City loves the Bay Area.
Bro, period, bro. And I'm going to love Kansas City. I will forever go to Kansas City. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Fuck you if you don't like Kansas City. I love KC. That's just what it is with me. And KC love Dre.
Yeah.
Throw some Dre on in KC. They gonna do all the shit. You feel me? They gonna knock it. What?
Yeah.
Man, y'all got KC fucked up. And I'm talking about KC, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all don't even know the difference between that, man. Y'all gotta get y'all geographics up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, what like, I know you said you at first you wasn't making music and you wasn't rapping, but what was it that made you want to get into music?
So here's the thing. I've always been into music. So I rapped. I rapped in high school. Like I won a Camille contest in high school.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I rapped in high school. I was on Soul Beat in high school. This is old school bass shit. Y'all had to be throwback. You know what Soul Beat is. Soul Beat's old school. Matter of fact, they making a comeback. You're gonna hear about it. So Soul Beat is they was like one of the first little video channels out of the Bay. They was putting video, they had their own channel in the Bay. I was on they had some shit called Home Turf, Dominique DePrima. I was on Home Turf. That was another show that highlighted Bay Area talent before they had social media and was just focused on Bay.
Yeah.
So Camille had threw a big ass contest in the whole Northern California, where they invited all the schools for everywhere, everybody from Oakland High, to Pinole High, to Vallejo High, Richmond, everywhere. They invited all the high schools to do a talent show at their high school. Then they had to send the winner of the talent show to a big Camille talent show in Fremont. When the judges was like MC Hammer, Stevie B, all of them was cracking back then. Humpty, all of them was cracking. This was in 89. This is 89, 90, my last year. So they threw this big ass talent show. So all of us was in it. All the high schools, all the shit. And at the time, I was at Pinole High. I had to graduate. I got thrown out of Vallejo High in my 11th grade year. Went over to Pinole to graduate my 12th grade year. I had put together a little group. I rapped and did shit. We really won a talent show. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
They gave it to Oakland High. They gave it to some singers. They gave it to some singers. Bro, this newspaper articles and everything on this. I can't make this up. I can pull out an article for you. But they gave it to Oakland High. And you know, we was in Oakland. It was on some home turf shit. But everybody knew that my group, I had a group called JD and the Side Steppers, bro. I had dancers and everything. I was rapping, I had my dancers, but everybody knew that my group and me, we won that contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was that. So I did that in high school. And then when I was in prison, that was my passion. Like I wrote music and I used to perform for the prisoners. I used to do all the shit that all the prisoners wanted to hear. Niggas wouldn't even come to the pound if I wasn't on the yard rapping. Like, nigga, because I did all the street shit. I roasted the rats. I used to get locked up for after doing shows. Like, nigga, you going to the hole.
Yeah.
I done scared all the rats off the yard, all the shit. So when so my prison is what gave me the confidence to come home and even rap. I'm like, bro, everybody in prison like, nigga, you hard, nigga, you raw, nigga, you talk that real shit, nigga. Diz, when you get home, nigga, go straight to the studio. Everybody was on me like that. And I'm like, and I had the avenue. I had Dre.
Yeah.
You feel me? They was like, whatever you do, bro, just keep it 100. Don't go out there and talk about the shit these niggas. Always stay with the real shit and all the shit. And that's what I did. I stayed to that format. My first album was called Both Sides of the Gate.
Yeah.
So it was an album where I was talking about a lot of prison shit, but I was just transforming back to this side of the gate. Yeah. So it was called Both Sides of the Gate.
2003.
2000. Yep. And that was my opening album. And I dropped that album and I was on BET. I was on BET, a show called BET O Drama.
Yeah.
With Kim Whitley and Erica Alexander. It was a big show on BET. They came had me on. It had nothing to do with music. It was just about my life coming home from 10 years in prison and all the shit. So I did that. I did Ricky Lake show. I did a lot of shit coming home, transitioning into this music shit.
Yeah. Now that is super tight to see, like, how long you've been making music. Like this first album, that's 20 years.
All right.
How do you feel about?
Go ahead. I was just for say on that first album, you see the features I had E-40,
that's
Be
what I'm
Legit,
saying.
Mac Dre, Mac Mall, Doobie, Yuck Mouth. Like I had all the bass shit. It was real bad.
Yeah, I'm seeing this. How do you feel about, like, you know, music today and Bay Area music today? You know, having over 20 years of seeing music, you know?
It's just an evolvement thing. Music definitely have changed, you know what I mean? So you know, I watched it go from storytelling and really taking your time to writing to saying the first thing to come to mind.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of these kids do today. That's what music is today now. They just the first thing come to their mind. I watch them record. I watch them go in there. Like, not too many people write anymore. Yeah. Everything. So they're not even putting a lot of thought into the music no more. That's why all these niggas saw shoot, kill, is easy. So, but I think really they need to get back to really for real. I'm gonna keep it 100. They really need to get back to writing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people got the gift to you can make songs. Yeah, you can make songs off the top of your head without writing. But I really think that they're not putting the time into making great music anymore. They make good songs, you know, dope in the time songs. But you know, music should be timeless. You know, it's cool to make hits for sure. Just focus on the time. Yeah. But I think a lot of music, bro. You know, some of the oldies. You know, I listen to my moms and them oldies and shit that the moms and pops used to listen to in the day.
Yeah.
And they still listen to that shit 30, 40 years later. And a lot of the reason why is because it's really don't got no date on it. Like the sound is a date, but the topics. Yeah. You know, music most of the time they always talk about women and men and love and relationships. You know, all that's oldies. That's what most of the oldies was. A lot of relationship shit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I do. I talk about not necessarily relationships, but I talk, you know, I do a lot of talking to my bitches.
Yeah.
A lot of people know Diz make a lot of music for the bitches.
Yeah.
So and to me that's kind of like timeless. You know, I'm not talking about a certain car. I'm not talking about the date and the age. I'm just talking about shit that we go through in situations and relationships or whatever your relationship might be.
Yeah.
And that's you know, some of them songs, and I do a lot of samples because them samples be timeless. And it's just that old school feel. And a lot of my, you know, I got a lot of fans that grew up with me too. So I gotta keep that in mind. I got some kids that listen too.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of old school fans that they want that still too. They want that timeless sound. So and like I say, they killing the game.
Yeah,
they killing the game. Yeah. We never sold records at the rate that they selling records at now.
Yeah, I did want to ask you this. like I was like doing a little bit of research and looking at things, but people try to make it seem or try to push a narrative of 40 and Dre having issues. Is that true? Is that false?
It was more of a competition issue. So here it is. So we from two different sides of town. So that was automatically an issue. It's North Vallejo versus South Vallejo. So and that was, from kids. That was always, it always was that, as always is that, still that. So 40 from one side of town, Dre from one side of town, both from Vallejo, both from the same air. We as artists, it was always a competitive thing, but our neighborhoods funk too.
Yeah.
It was fights, We had a show. We had a show in fucking fuck. This had to be Dre first album had to be 91. 91. We had a show in Fairfield, California. The show was E-40 and the Click.
Yeah.
Spice One and the 187 Faculty. Mac Dre and the Romper Room crew. Too Short and Dangerous crew. In Fairfield, out of all places. I can't make this up. I can't make
I'm
this
like,
up.
Fairfield?
I can't make this up. So our whole hood, of course, that's 5 minutes from us. Our whole hood there. You feel me? 40 whole hood there. Spice there. Short there. We all in Fairfield. Show kick off. Spice perform first. Boom, boom, boom. He get his thing off. We get on next. It's Cooley on stage, Dre on stage, I'm on stage. Our DJ is named DJ Cease. So Dre had a diss record on 40 back at the time. It had that old school, what's the name beat? Check Yourself beat.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't even Check Yourself. Actually, it's the original Africa Bambaataa. So anyway, Dre had did a diss track on 40 and Lil Bruce. Back then, this one Lil Bruce was Lil Bruce and E-40 and his family, but Lil Bruce ended up signing with Thizz too. But back then, this one we didn't fuck with Lil Bruce at all. So our DJ, he put on the instrumental to the diss track. It wasn't even the diss track, it was just like the beat.
Yeah.
And our side starts singing the song, the actual song.
Yeah.
Which was a diss song. So before you know it, when that happened,
the crowd, both sides of the crowd.
It went up. It went up. And it was the crest against the hills.
Yeah.
So that was back in 90. So ever since then, it's always been Dre on that side, 40 on this side. But it's never been no personal E-40 and Mac Dre beef. It's always been subliminals going on.
Yeah.
But Dre went hard. Like Dre went hard and on that song, the Coco Capper, where he said names and he really dissed everybody.
Yeah.
40 never really 40 responded like once he did a subliminal diss where he responded. But it wasn't never the one where when I see you, nigga, we fighting or none of that shit. Like I actually orchestrated the first song that they was ever on together.
Yeah.
And 40 tapped into me, and he was working with his artist Turf Talk at the time.
Yeah.
And Turf Talk and 40 had a song called Hubba Rock, and they wanted to get Dre on it. So I put that together, and Dre was on that song with him. That was the very first song that Dre and 40 was ever collabed on.
Yeah.
And that was at a point in time where they both was, we bosses now. We ain't tripping on the small shit. And,
you feel me? To the side.
Yeah. This was after our prison time, and like I said, this shit was way back before Dre was known like that. Before he even was on. Like the diss track came out before Too Hard for the fucking radio.
Oh, okay, I got you. That
so
was like
this was street shit. Yeah. So that's why So it was definitely always a competition.
Nah, I mean that's understandable. Both from different sides, like Vallejo. It's like Vallejo had his own politics that I feel like y'all were, especially like Mac Dre, but like, do you feel like before Mac Dre, people were as in tune with Vallejo and just like their impact on Bay Area culture?
Dre and 40 definitely made Vallejo a game capital. We are game capital now. Like we are known to have gang. Like they know that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
there's the Bay Area for sure. We the Bay Area artists. But these two with these slick ass mouths over here, them niggas from Vallejo. So they, you know, and so Vallejo's definitely got a special kind of shine on it being so small. You gotta understand, bro. We a little bit bigger than this room.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Vallejo ain't big, my nigga. You know, it took for me to get out and really spread my wings to realize how country Vallejo would be considered the country in the Bay.
Yeah.
And, you know, to an extent. You feel me? Because just for how small we are, not being where we located, but just how small. Like we just really a very, very small city, my nigga. Like, but it's so much game come out of Vallejo. And the niggas in Vallejo is so raw. It's crazy. It's like, man, like what cloth was these niggas cut from?
Yeah.
And that's on both sides. I'm gonna give it to it on both sides. Like it's a different cloth. Even and then with this music shit, we've always been musically inclined. Like even one of the Confunctions, my nigga. You know, that's an old school throwback group, Vallejo
Yeah.
group. You know what I mean? Vallejo. You know, some of the slickest peas in the game that ever got at a bitch out their mouth, man. The Rosebuds and all them Vallejo. So we, you know, we breed a different species for sure.
Yeah. Isn't this another thing I'm seeing on the internet? I just want to kind of get everything while you're here, but do you want to speak on your issues with JT the Bigga Figga?
You know, I wasn't gonna give that clown no shine. Like this nigga is really a clown. I'm gonna keep it 100. JT the Bigga Figga is a clown. He one of the biggest scam artists we ever had out of the Bay Area. Like the nigga that scammed everybody from Snoop Dogg to damn near Maris to Farrakhan. Like nobody that he's done business with still does business with him. I hate to have to say it like that, but it's the truth for what it is. And you know, JT, he been around. He's definitely one of the pioneers of the Bay Area. I'm not gonna take that from him even though he had a terrible music career. His music has always been trash. He was just one of the smart enough people from the Bay Area that knew how to get next to other people. You know, he was smart with business wise to an extent.
Yeah.
It's just that once he started doing business with you, he always gonna find a way to fuck that up. Like it's just there's no way around it. He'd been around a while, so he had some good stories to tell. And one of the things about him, he's one of the kind of people that uses the internet to fabricate stories too. So, you know, me and JT, we used to be cool. We wasn't no super close or none of that shit, but we used to be cool. And our falling out came around the Yuck Mouth shit.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, not the Yuck Mouth shit, around the Messy Marv shit.
Yeah.
And it was for real. You know, JT do his own thing, was trying to film a movie or something. He in the middle of trying to film some movie shit, and he wanted to. From what I understand, he had got some money for supposed to have been some type of Filmo, Meet the Crest movie or with Mac Dre featured in it.
Yeah.
And he was basically in my neighborhood one day, and he was trying to get a hold of me to come give me the cosign on getting some footage. This was not long after Messi had did the bullshit.
Yeah.
The day he was trying to get a hold of me, I was literally on a plane. Didn't even know it. The next day, I was flying into the Crest because I was finna shoot a video about Mess. So I shoot this video about Mess, and I'm on the site, literally where I'm finna shoot at. Somebody hit me like, "Hey, bro, JT trying to get a hold to you." So I tap right in with him like, "JT, what's up with it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I was in Vallejo, blah blah." Come up to the Crest Park, bro. I'm shooting this video. You feel me? I'm gonna keep 100 though. It's about Mess and yada yada. He come up. He came up, jumped in the video, did all the shit. Everything was all good that day. Then that night he goes on live, and he really mad at Lavish D about something on live. That's a whole nother story. But during the interview, while he mad, one of his cameraman mentioned my name. It was about some syrup he had. So when he mentioned my name, he just, "Oh, Jay Diggs, man, fuck Jay Diggs, man. I was trying to call Jay Diggs for a whole day. He gonna ignore my call. How you gonna ignore a boss?" And blah blah. I just went in. But mind you, you
Yeah,
were just with
saying,
me at the
I was all
video.
like,
Like you could have said that when you pulled up to the, like literally, bro. He literally, and it's online too, bro. Everything I'm telling you,
yeah, it's online.
everything that y'all hearing me say is verifiable. All these interviews, all the shit that I'm telling you, these niggas doing. Like I'm not saying niggas doing shit that you can't verify.
Yeah.
Everything can be verified. So he goes off in the middle of this interview, going off on Lavish D and Zoda Roaster. He switches on to Jay Diggs about me not calling him back and how I didn't call him back, but I got him in my video, but I couldn't call him back and blah, blah, blah. So he goes off, goes all the way off out of nowhere. So I said some little slick shit back to him, but I wasn't really intervening on it. But he took that as because he got so many views off of that video.
Yeah.
He took that and started running with the whole. Now he on J Diggs. He mad at J Diggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He. Oh man, I got information from the Crest Ride anyway. J Diggs might have got something to do with the Mac Dre and this and that, and he starts got to going all this old weird. Oh, J Diggs took $12 million from Mac Dre mama. He was the one I was telling about. I was really talking about him in the early story.
Yeah.
So he started making all these bullshit, like real bullshit, like to the point where he's so infatuated with it. Wanda did an interview. She was talking. And he tried to retake her interview and put her interview up and said, "Oh, she talking about Dre and Kilo." And man, she literally got in the comments telling people, "No, I am not talking about Diggs." Like no, don't even. Yeah, so it's crazy how shit work. Like it's a matter of fact, she on Zoda Roaster page. So he took this shit, bro, and he really was trying to run with it for views, bro. Views. You know, he one of them niggas he not even gonna have a meal if he don't get a check from YouTube or something this week. It's gonna be a rough month.
Yeah.
So he uses that to his. That's all he does. He's one of them. I'm monetizing. I'm trying to do this. Everything is for views. Like only time the nigga get views and likes is when he mentioned me and mentioned Mac Dre, and that's what he does. And he didn't try to run with this story. He didn't tell the story 9 different ways. Like he lies on the story. He retracts it. He does everything trying to, like I say, 22 years later or 20 years later, and he trying to make up this. He trying to make it like him and Mac Dre was friends. Dre didn't even fuck with this nigga. He put him on the first compilation when he came home. Like, that was every half the Bay Area was on that album.
Yeah.
Like, yo, fuck it. But yeah, so he one of them though. He one of them right now. That's he on that hit list too. Boy, playing with the wrong people. But yeah, he said a whole bunch of shit, about me, Kilo, Dre mama, Dre daughter. He one of them. Another one like Wack on the internet to say anything for likes and views, and dudes don't even be having their stories right. Like these the kind of niggas that I seen just happen the other day that they'll let a nigga call up onto their podcast. How you do a podcast, a nigga can call your podcast and say, "Yeah, man, I'm from so-and-so. Yeah, I know so-and-so. Yeah, he used to do this and he used to do that." And he'll say, see, I told y'all they need to be doing all this. And like, come on, my nigga. You got no facts, no proof. You let anybody just say anything about you. And that's what I don't understand about today's world. Like you can't put shit in the air. You can't just have nobody call up and just tell you. You don't even know who you're talking to. So you're gonna let their word be the facts of what this man's whole character is.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got no information, and that's what this internet does to people these days, man. And some people can't defend themselves, and it's kind of fucked up. And if I wouldn't have had the voice that I had to defend myself, then I'd be fucked up too. The people be looking me all upside my head.
At that point, people just will believe whatever.
Man, I heard this about this nigga. Oh yeah, it's all over the internet. This nigga do this. Yeah. Oh yeah, this nigga. Yeah. So that's why I'm sitting with you. You know how hard it was to get me in here, bro. Yeah. Come on, my nigga.
This has been a long awaited interview. It's been, we've been talking about this for a long time.
My nigga, I get 50 podcasts hit me a day. I could have been doing interviews. If I was about clout or trying to boost my career, people ask me for interviews about all type of shit. Just before the Wack 100 shit, all the shit. I'm doing this shit now because this shit on the internet I gotta respond to.
Yeah.
I have to put this out there before people get me fucked up.
Yeah.
And get fucked up. You know, like I said, that's what happened to a nigga. Pulled up on me. Somebody tried it with some put a fake paragraph, not even real paperwork. Oh, J Diggs told on somebody. And the nigga walked up to me and said, "Oh, nigga, it's paperwork on you." I'm like, "My nigga, ain't no paperwork on me, my nigga. And watch your mouth when you talk to me." "Oh, nigga, out." And I had to knock this nigga out.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when that happened, it nipped it in the bud. Not another nigga ever walked up to me and said another word about paperwork.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't play. And so when Wack did that shit, start talking about fucking homosexual shit with me, like I don't got a problem with homosexuals, nigga, but I'm not one.
Yeah.
I'm not no pedophile, nigga. So don't play me like one. I don't do none of that shit, my nigga. So I had to address. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why if you see me on any motherfucking podcasts recently, that's only it. That's me standing up for my name and who I am. And so a motherfucker don't get me twisted with a nigga getting his ass played in.
Yeah. I did want to also ask you this right here. Wack was trying to say something about like your son passed. I know we talked about it prior, but like, did you want to clear that up?
Oh yeah, I mean it is what it is. Like I said, it's all public information. It's crazy because there's actually a video online. I was in the middle of shooting a documentary when I got the call that my son has passed away. So that's a whole documentary called The Worst Week of My Life.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. This is the kind of nigga that I'm dealing with. This is why I'm in LA right now. For a nigga that said, he didn't call me a pedophile. The nigga that said that he heard. See, this is what niggas do on the internet. Oh yeah, man, I just heard yesterday nigga told me that he had his son killed for insurance money. So who told you that, my nigga? Like, anybody could just tell you anything, my nigga. That's what I'm saying. So these are the kind of games that these niggas, these influencers, will play on the internet with a nigga name when they think that you can't, you ain't got the voice to hit back, my nigga. So and I don't even play on the internet, but I'm playing right now, like I said. So yeah, he played with me like that, bro. That shit hit me in a different place too when he played with me like that. I ain't gonna even lie.
I can imagine for sure.
Hit me in a different place, my nigga, because I don't play, especially about my kids. You feel me? So it's taken a lot for me, and a maturity in me to even keep it on this level. You feel me? And I'm doing that. I'm keeping it on this level because I'm a real nigga. I'm a real nigga. There's the reason why I'm keeping it on this level. And I want to do some real nigga shit to a fake nigga. Hella bad. So I'm trying to get my point across, and I'm going to get it across one way or another. Like, a nigga got to face me about this. Like, this shit gets you in trouble all the time. It gets some people killed. Right, but I'm not on the bullshit like that. I literally want to beat this nigga up. And I want y'all to watch it.
Is there anything you want to address while you're here? Yeah, new music, videos, anything you want to talk about while I got you here?
3 Finger Wack. Yeah, my nigga, that's all I'm pushing right now. But I do got an album out coming out with me and Jay Styling, man, the 10th letter. The 10th letter, that's coming out July 10th, which is my birthday. Yeah. 10th letter, man. Y'all figure that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 10th letter, and that's also what happened to be Jay, in case y'all trying to figure it out. Jay Diggs and Jay Styling, the 10th letter.
I like that.
Yeah, it's 10 everything with me. So that's coming out. Then I got my solo album, 30-day run. Yeah. A lot of my bitches know what that is.
Yeah.
We on a 30-day run. So I got both of them projects coming out in July. July is my month. It's Mac Dre. It's Mac Dre month.
Yeah.
It's me and Dre birthday. So we go hard. It's like one of my hardest months. So I be booked up. I'm doing shows every other day, damn near in July. That's what it is. So that's my biggest push. My book is in stores right on all platforms. Amazon.com, Walmart.com, anywhere. Soul of a Gangster is the name of my book. Soulofagangster.com if you want to go get it personally. You feel me, off my website. It's on there. Like I said, anywhere the music is streaming, you can find my music, bro. I've been doing this shit for 20 years.
Yeah.
But 3 Finger Wack is the hot single out right now. It should probably like 500,000 views in a week and a half.
Yeah.
On YouTube. And that's about it. Movie coming soon, man. And y'all gonna get to seeing the previews on that. Like, it really just went into production. They just really starting production right as we speak. All the paperwork, everything is final. It's big. So,
that'd be dope.
It is what it is, man. I'm glad some of y'all who didn't know who Diggs was took time to come in and really find out. Like I say, my life is on every case I ever caught, every jail case I ever caught is on the internet. Anything I ever did in life is on the internet. Like, I can't hide. My life is an open book.
Yeah.
So if you got any questions, if you heard anything foul on my name, it's researchable.
Yeah.
I'm an open book. It's researchable.
I appreciate you taking the time out to do this interview. I mean, I know you missed your flight and everything.
I did really miss my flight.
I apologize for that for sure.
That's all up.
But I appreciate you doing the interview and wish you nothing but success moving forward. And thank you again.
Real nigga. I just got to get some weed.
Yeah. Jay Diggs interview on the way. You locked in with the Innovators. You already know. Best interviews right here.